So I had sent you this video yesterday, and it's that video of the back and forth between a member of the House of Representatives and the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives of Nigeria. Now, I know you watched it, but then I'm going to go over this. And strangely enough, this happened last year, and I don't know how that slipped through the cracks, and we didn't, get to see and talk about these. But just to recap, what happened in the video was that a member of the House of Representatives called Mark Bila, who represents Gwe East and Gwe West federal constituency of Benue State, had presented a petition that was submitted to him by members of a union called the Mutual Union of the Thief in the United States.
All right.
And what was in the petition, right? They were complaining that the ancestral lands of their people had allegedly been possessed through attacks, and then of course, general insecurity that was happening in Benue State back in 2021 might still be happening right now, right? And they were also worried that the original owners of the land are now languishing in IDP camps, internally displaced people's camps. Now, what is interesting about the whole thing and about the video is that the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, right? His name is Ahmed Idris Wase, representing Wase Federal Constituency of Plateau State. The response that he had when the petition was presented to him. Now, he asked a very interesting question. If they are in America, do they really know what is going on enough to be an interested party? I have so many thoughts about this, but I know you've watched that video. Before I say what I have on my mind, I really want to know what you think about the whole thing.
Yeah, so that is a very interesting, exchange between the Deputy Speaker and the member of the House of Reps. The first thing that came to my mind, to be honest, I wanted to question how much exposure or education the Deputy Speaker had. Why was he even sitting on that chair? And I wanted to kind of, interrogate his exposure. But he spoke like somebody who had basic, command of English, and he wasn't, talking like someone who wasn't educated. Of course, so I went to his page, I looked him up, and yeah, he was kind of a civil engineer, in his former life before he became a politician. But we have said this thing before while talking, it seems that the worst sort of human beings magically or coincidentally, I don't know the word to use, find themselves at the top of the pyramid of Nigeria's political class.
Yes.
So what I'm going to ask is this, I can even see that Honorable Bila was trying to tell him that some of these people are people who live in Nigeria, but, they found themselves either going to school or doing business or temporarily living in the US, and they have, formed an association amongst themselves, and they found out that they can use that platform to address some of the things happening to their family and themselves actually back home. So the question, you ask is, if I have a piece of land back home in Nigeria and I travel out and then someone raids it, so does that mean that I can't seek redress or that land no longer belongs to me because I'm now living in the US? If I have a family, my family being run out of their ancestral home right now, that means that I can't,
Right.
with my cousins and my family right here, I'd talk to the government and say, hey, or file a lawsuit seeking for redress. Is that what he's, this man is trying to say? And you can also see in that video that Honorable Bila was trying to say that even previously, political action groups or different pressure groups from overseas have actually sent him bills and petitions to the House. And he
Sure.
mentioned, I know he mentioned Honorable Abike Dabiri, who is in charge of the diaspora in the House of Reps, there, that she has actually done some work with diaspora. So, and that's how things are. I mean, uh, nothing disenfranchises you just because you are a Nigerian who lives abroad. So that is a basic logic everybody knows. Nobody, I've never had that, thought of line of thought before, where it says that because you live abroad, you you shouldn't have an opinion, or you shouldn't have a petition sent to the government or the House of Reps. That's the first thing. And second thing, like I said, also legally, you have an interest in Nigeria. Some of them, most Nigerians, of course, we are known worldwide for loving our homeland. We are known for traveling. We are known for always going back home. We are known for trying to speak our language and teach it to our kids, and trying to have that Paraboism, whether we are home or abroad. And so it was really sad, to watch that exchange. And again, I still say, what qualifies, what made them put that man on that seat that day? If Femi Gbajabiamila, the current speaker, who maybe I don't know where he was that day, if he was sitting on that seat that day, what would he have said? Would he have had the same sentiments? All right. And then finally, I also want to think that the Deputy Speaker, Mr. Wase, wanted to really knock out that petition. I don't want to believe that he really believed what he was saying, like trying to say that once you are living outside the country, then you have no voice in the things happening in the country. So I want to believe that he actually just wanted to be sure that they don't talk about that particular petition on the floor of the House. That's what I believe.
I believe that if Honorable Femi was there, someone that I would consider more intellectually astute than the deputy governor, the deputy speaker of the House of Representatives, that petition might, things might have gone a little bit different, right? Now, I might not be able to state exactly how it would have ended, but I don't think someone like Femi would have made comments like, people living abroad, people living outside Nigeria, do they have what it takes? Do they really know enough of what's going on to be able to become interested parties in whatever happens in Nigeria? But anyway, my problem isn't much about whether the case can be treated in the House or not, whether the petition can be accepted into the House or not. My problem is the reasons that the deputy speaker had forwarded as, things that will prevent him from not allowing the petition to be tabled in the House. Now, if he had come out and said something about the House rules, about, Mark Miller not having come through the right channels, then we can start debating that. But the problem for me is because he had, asked some questions which just expose the way he thinks, how backward he is, and how ignorant he is. And I had written out some of those questions. And those questions, if you watch the videos, you're going to see those same questions in the video. Those are the ones that I picked out. And they just sounded so insane to me. One of them was, he was doubting whether they know what is really going on simply because they live in America. Number two, he even asked that some of these people might have dual citizenship, which to me is neither here or there. What does that have to do with anything, right? The third one is that he was asking, when it was mentioned that this petition is coming from a union called MUTA, which stands for the Mutual Union of the Thief in America. he was asking, is this association or union registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission of Nigeria? Okay, all right. Number 4, he was not convinced that someone in America should be engaging in this kind of issue. Now, you look at this. This is, I hate when someone argues irrationally, right? If you cannot get solid points to back up to back your position, to support your position, then you shouldn't be throwing out questions. But I don't even think that he just didn't want to accept the petition. It's just that he just found reasons that he actually believes in, which didn't have anything to do with, being able to accept a petition into the House. Now, as a matter of fact, anybody anywhere in the world, you don't have to be a Nigerian to be able to give a communication or petition to the House of Representatives of a country.
True. Yep.
So are you trying to tell me that simply because someone is from England or from Italy, that the person cannot send a petition to the House about something that is going on in the country, right? For the House to take a look at.
In fact, that reminds me of some, bills like the one that Americans sent so that they'll be able to sue Saudi Arabia for certain, if you remember that controversy about killings that happened, the killing of Americans, something like that, allowing them to be sued, that sort of thing, right?
Right.
So, that whole thing went through the Congress. So, imagine that, being the case here. That means that using this logic, Nigerians shouldn't be allowed to sue anybody outside the country. If Nigerians who are outside the country cannot even voice their concern about what is happening in Nigeria, then can you allow a Nigerian like myself, I don't have any other citizenship? That means that if somebody beats me up on the streets of, outside the country, I don't have a voice. I shouldn't even have a voice in the country because I'm not, I don't have the citizenship of the country. So imagine that kind of thinking.
To me, if the deputy speaker had come out to say, oh, Mr. Miller, we already have like house rules that you have to follow, right? Or that we as a house, we have already agreed on certain issues that we're supposed to focus on and take care of. Right now, our docket is full, our hands are full with legislative affairs, right? Bring it up next month, right? Or down the line, before the end of the year, or whatever it is. Yeah. Then we can start arguing, right? Whether that is the right thing to do, bringing it up some other time. But at least you would understand, you will start wrapping your head around the reason that is given. But the fact that, because you stay abroad, you're Nigerian, but you stay somewhere else. Nah, you don't even have to be Nigerian. If anyone submits anything, whether he's a Nigerian or not, as the House of Representatives of the country, right? A major organization, a major body within the government of a country or of the country, you should be able to submit it. It is accepted by the House. If it is something they can investigate, they'll go ahead and investigate it. But if it is something that is not in their purview or in their powers to investigate or to do anything about, then they can forward that, whatever petition or complaint it is, to the appropriate authorities, be it the police or to the executive arm of the government or whatever it is, right? In fact, even if you don't want to accept it, if you have your hands full or something, you can direct Mark Miller or anybody else that is submitting a complaint to go to the relevant authorities or bodies or organizations of government, agencies of government, to get that issue taken care of. But to say because, you're a Nigerian, you're living outside Nigeria, you don't have, I don't know what, the jurisdiction or something to talk about what's going on in your own country. Yeah, but go ahead.
So, one of the saddest things about that video, if you watch that video, you will see that there was no reaction whatsoever from anybody on the
by
floor.
The other members.
As in, they weren't even paying attention. You can see
Right.
the videos showing each of them. Most of them were talking with each other. Some were walking out of the session. I mean,
Yes.
the IDP situation or the killings or the herdsmen problem should be one of the most important things. It has been one of the biggest problems that this current National Assembly and executive arm of
Executive arm.
government have faced since 2015. Like anytime somebody comes up and say IDP or says anything about um, you know cattle rustling or whatever, situations like this, people's antenna should like jump up immediately, right? But I
Yes.
saw these guys, nobody cared. Towards the tail end of the video, I could hear, I think the whip or the chief whip, I don't know what they call him, telling Wheeler to be guided, telling him to be guided, and you know, I mean, Wheeler was respectful. I don't think at any point he was,
He didn't have any backing. What
yeah.
was he
So,
supposed to do?
so
Nobody was. But and the funny thing is, so many of those people, they are from areas
affected.
that are undergoing insecurity challenges or
Yes.
security challenges, right? And one day, one of them will stand up to present something like this. Now, you did not support the other person when he was presenting it. You would expect someone else to support you. See what I mean? So it's insecurity, security issues, and you have people who are supposed to jump up at every opportunity to tackle security, to talk about IDPs, and to talk about what's going on in Benue State. Just relaxing and just gisting. They were more interested in the gist that they had.
Yeah, and the fact that Wase is from Plateau State, which I can guarantee you also have the same, a
Right.
bit close to Benue, and we definitely have those kind of problems in certain areas of Plateau State. The fact
Yes,
that
definitely.
he wasn't even sympathetic, as somebody from the same region that would kind of have that similar
Yeah,
problem.
they're both from the North Central, actually.
Yeah. So it was bewildering to me that he didn't even say, okay, let's even hear and debate what is going on, or let's bring more people. People were talking, and he didn't even try to bring them into the discussion, or at least pay attention while he was speaking. It's very sad. That means that you know the quality of people out there representing Nigerians is very poor. That's what it means.
The guy's education to me is wasted. I don't know if he's done any other good in government. I'm talking about the Deputy Speaker of the House, but he's wasted. He went to primary school, secondary school, went to Polytechnic, from what I see, in Plateau State, and then also in Kaduna State. And then he went to the John F. Kennedy School of Government, right?
I don't know what kind of school
Going
of
through,
government.
going
If
through.
if he's if he's a specimen of the product of JFK School of Government, then that school should be closed.
See, it's crazy. If you're telling people because you're far away, you live in another land and you cannot engage in whatever is going on in Nigeria, then maybe you should also, you know, start agitating that people should not send money back home anymore.
Exactly. So
You know,
that's even the other area that we have to talk about, how important the diaspora have been to Nigeria's economy since forever. You want to talk about businesses that have been set up in Nigeria. You
mhm.
want to talk about the talent pool that Nigerians who have gone to diaspora, gone to school or acquire some professional, knowledge outside the country and come back home to, use that to build up the talent pool and institutions in Nigeria. Should we start calling names? Should we start calling people who have made Nigeria proud only because they went outside Nigeria? So we don't need to start mentioning names. So are you telling me, that right now you would not listen to these people who, scholars or mathematicians or computer scientists or software engineers or politicians who are even outside Nigeria. Are you saying you won't listen to them because they have dual citizenship or they live outside Nigeria? Doesn't make sense. That line of thought, was very, very too mundane and too.
So what it is insecurity will push people out. Some of them will run outside Nigeria, right? And because they've gone outside Nigeria, they can't say anything about Nigeria or engage in debates about the progress of Nigeria or submit any petitions about what's going on in Nigeria. And because of that, the insecurity will continue because no one is really talking too much. You don't have enough people talking about it. That insecurity will continue. More people will be pushed out. More people will leave the country. Because you have to understand that people who are abroad, who live outside, they are not living outside Nigeria because they really love it.
Truly, most of us want to be back
If the
home in
country was the
Nigeria.
way it was supposed to be set up and supposed to be run, you might have like fewer than 500,000 Nigerians living outside.
Very true.
But these people go out, they go and they hustle, they try to, make their dreams come through, or just try to make a little bit more money. Stay somewhere that is a little bit safer. Where at least you call the emergency services and the security services, and they'll be there to take care of you, right? And they send back money home to take care of things, buy land, like you said at the beginning of this talk, buy land, build houses or something, and then you can. Do you know how much money that these people send back to Nigeria every year?
I am of the opinion that Nigeria, at least for the past 7 years, would have broken down into pieces if not for the money the diaspora sent back home.
The diaspora sends back.
Like
Yeah.
this Buhari's regime, the economic depression. Like I just heard this morning that bread goes for as much as 1,000 naira. I mean, how much salary increase has there been for civil servants? Zero. I don't think civil servants have any civil servant
but you
can
see,
say.
that's even the thing. You can't even take care of this sort of problems with salary increase, right?
True.
Because you increase the salary, the prices go higher. You keep increasing the salary to match the prices of items, of food items. There's an extent to which government can get to, right? In
That's true.
increasing salaries. What you start printing money to take care of these sort of things, and then you know how that affects the economy and how it ruins the economy. Exactly what happened in Zimbabwe. So you don't want something like that. You actually want government policies that somehow keeps the salary, keeps the salary steady, or just have like marginal increases in salary remuneration, right? But then you have to make sure to take care of these other things so that the salary can be enough to take care of those things, to buy those things.
And that brings us back to the petition that this diaspora group brought in. You see, when there's rampant insecurity, when you have a place like Plateau, Benue, which is where food production and farming is the prevalent endeavor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Once these places have this kind of insecurity, less people farm, less production, less distribution of food, and what happens? Food products go high.
They go up. The
So it brings us back again to the whole thing we're talking about here. You cannot. Nigeria does not have a plan. There's no state government, federal government level food security or food supply chain plan. If there is one, please show me where there is a supply chain plan where, just like in Nigeria, in the US, where you have Biden and the Congress worry sick about how inflation is affecting baby formula or supply chain issues are affecting baby formula, right? And then they sat down and made a plan, and now they resolved that issue. Tell me exactly in the in Nigeria's paperwork or documentation or anywhere where there's actually a plan for food, supply chain and food security. There's none, So it's sad. And they don't know that taking care of these kind of things where people have to run away from their ancestral land, stop, farming, stop being useful members of the society and go ahead to be IDPs, where they have to wait for government to give them food and feed them and house them, which never comes most times. And then they're languishing. And then they are knocked out of production, like they're out of commission. They can't really get to their potential because of the situation they found themselves. And that petition is coming for you to look into it, and you just blatantly refuse to even take a first look at it. It shows that Wase doesn't understand his job as a lawmaker. He doesn't understand the assignment. Let me put it that way.
You know what's scary? Tomorrow he's going to come out to contest for president.
People will hail him, right?
People will hail him. Of course, he will have supporters, especially if he's going to come out on a major platform, major political platform. He's going to have millions of supporters. And that person will be talking about how he's going to take Nigeria higher and how he's going to be progressive and all that. This same person.
Yeah. It's sad. I just, again, I will say it one more time. I don't know how this kind of people find themselves up there. He's like the number 6 man in Nigeria right now. Am I correct?
I think because they are the most tenacious of people.
Yeah, but
right?
Is it correct to say that he's number 6 person now in terms of succession to the president, right? So you have the president.
Oh, succession. No, succession.
You have the president.
I don't know.
You have the president, you have the vice president, you have the Senate president, you have the deputy Senate president, you have the Speaker of the House, and then you have the deputy speaker. So I'm not saying he can assign. I'm just saying if you want to count the elected politicians in Nigeria in terms of hierarchy,
the speaker actually comes before the deputy Senate president. So the speaker is number 4 guy in the country.
Well, he's still number 6, but so you go back to deputy,
something like
then
that.
You come back to him. So,
right.
Just imagine one of the top 10 Nigerian office holders elected, top 10 easily.
Right.
Thinks this way. Then we should be crying. All of us should just be crying because, to be honest,
and he without his legislative experience as an asset to his presidential ambitions.
Yeah. So I mean, do you have any other thing you want to talk about? We can discuss a few more points before our time runs out.
Right now, it was just so disappointing to me. I sent you that video, just wanted you to watch, and then today I just called you, so I could hear your opinions about the whole thing. It's sad. I just hope that this stops very soon. Nigeria has suffered so much, and we need to move away from this kind of people, this kind of ideas and thought processes and stuff. But yeah, that's it from me.
We might not be able to do it as a big bang, but gradually we will be able to weed out this kind of, no value add politicians from our system. With this, I hope we can adjourn this meeting today.